आप सबको मेरा भी बहुत बहुत प्रणाम। किससे शुरू करूं? तो मैम मैं आपसे शुरू करता हूं। चलिए, लेडीज फर्स्ट। तो अभी हमने बहुत सारी बात, अच्छा उससे पहले एक छोटा सा सर्वे, क्योंकि ये बात हम थोड़ी अलग करेंगे। हमने बहुत सारे फाइनेंस की बात कर ली, करियर की बात कर ली। ये बताइए कि हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू वांट टू बिकम रिच? रेज योर हैंड्स। ऑलमोस्ट एवरीबडी, ऑब्वियस।
हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू डोंट वांट टू?
कुछ हाथ वैसे नहीं उठे, कुछ हाथ नहीं उठे। आई डोंट नो द रीजन इज, बट ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं। एंड हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू वांट टू बिकम हैप्पी? एवरीबडी। Now, the third question. If I ask to choose only one thing, either you want to become rich or either you want to become happy. So, first, happy. Okay? Now, rich. So, I think, but happy, I think, is the majority. So, thank you very much. And this is very important to become both in your life. इट्स नॉट, आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू से कि आपको पैसे नहीं कमाने, आपको धनवान नहीं करना। अभी आपने कंपाउंडिंग का थ्योरी पढ़ा, एंड मनी इज अ नेसेसिटी ऑफ द लाइफ, बट एट द सेम टाइम इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू बी हैप्पी। एक बार आपके जीवन में खुशी होगी और पैसे नहीं होंगे तो शायद काम चल जाएगा, लेकिन अगर पैसे हुए और खुशी नहीं हुई तो शायद मज़ा नहीं आएगा। राइट मैम, इस बैलेंस को हम कैसे स्ट्राइक करें? इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू स्ट्राइक अ बैलेंस बिटवीन हैप्पीनेस एंड अर्निंग्स। व्हाट डू यू से? क्या कर सकते हैं बच्चे की वो चीज मिस ना हो जाए? बिकॉज वी आर नाउ इन 2025, द वर्ल्ड इज इंटायरली चेंज। वी आर इन द वर्ल्ड ऑफ सोशल मीडिया, रील्स, एक्सेट्रा, लॉट ऑफ troubles on a mental level. These kind of issues are rising day by day. Earning also is not that easy, which was some few years back. But how to keep a balance between earning right and be happy?
Your question was very good, being happy and being rich. I think to be happy, we need certain things in our life. One important thing is that we need to have financial independence. So we cannot ignore money, ignore riches. We need to have our basic needs met, not just basic needs, a normal, decent, good life. That can vary from individual to individual. But money is an important part, but money cannot buy joy or happiness, which we see from stories of lots of people who have got a lot of money but then not happy in life. So it's important that we have to have a balance. It's important to have an education around it also, because somewhere, as in the beginning of the session, too much of competitiveness about making money, about, and it was good that you pointed out about the holistic education. In Christ, we focus a lot on holistic education. So we bring in the importance of being holistically grown students, where they have an idea about balance between importance of money in life and importance of happiness in life. So that balance, that thought of balance is very important. That comes from true interactions, through listening to talks, sessions, and I think it is a little bit rooted in our Indian ethos as well. We see Indian ethos is not after money, unlike capitalism, where the Western world extremely focuses on a capitalist mentality of the wealth maximization, etc. But in India, our traditional ethos tells us to be happy and content, at the same time innovative also. So keeping a balance between all these, that balanced mindset will keep us happy. That's what I feel.
Professor Krishna, I think आपको कई सालों से you went through many batches जहाँ बच्चे बदलते गए लगातार. What is the difference you notice? क्या change आ रहा है with every passing year? The generation is getting newer. क्या change हुआ है? उसमें क्या अच्छा है और क्या है जो शायद उतना अच्छा नहीं है लेकिन उसे correct करना चाहिए?
Yeah, difficult question.
So looking at you.
Yeah, I think there is something that has stayed along, right? They're all very curious. They really want to understand things. They're very passionate about what they want to do in life. Those kind of things. They're very passionate. Somewhere over a period of time, we found that they're a little skeptical about what is in store for them, right? They're confident about what they know, but when it comes to what is in store for them, they're a little skeptical. That is number one. Second one, I think, is the current world gives you a lot of options. In the past, probably, maybe 10 batches before, versus now, from a normal mobile to a smartphone kind of a change that we have seen, right? There are a lot of things that are available. They are spoiled by choices, if I can mention. I think those are the two important things that I have very clearly seen. But I think the underlying thing is they're all very curious. They want to really understand. They want to grow well and very positive in their attitude.
It's important to be positive, and that is important. Dr. Sathiyaseelan, again, with your experience, I want to ask this thing. Over the years, you saw so many students. What is one or two factors which differentiate between a successful person and one who is not that successful? I'm talking in terms of overall success, not just making the money.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's working now.
Yeah, so I think one biggest difference is the willingness to stay in the game. I think many speakers spoke about it on the resilience. I think get up, dress up, and show up. So very often, success is not so much about doing great things once in a while. It is showing up every day. So I think really that is what I would say differentiates between who's good and who's not good in the long run. I think that willingness to get up, I think keep pushing every day. I think that makes a huge difference, because if you really go even from a spiritual perspective, many people talked about it, that I mean, there is going to be stress and there is going to be problem in life. I don't think that we can wake up any day, and if you really believe the Buddhist thought, our very existence is stress. So therefore, stress is a given at any point of time. The only is how do we deal with it? And therefore, that mindset of staying in the game, keep on pushing it every day, I think that makes a huge difference. I think coming back to our own MBA program, we know that we don't make it easy for the students when it comes to course curriculum, the events. I think it's very, very hectic, but I think the ones who succeed are the ones who take everything and still remain positive and have that energy to move on each day. So that's really what I would say makes a huge difference, that willingness to stay in the game.
So that's fine. So one more question, Mareena ma'am, आपके लिए ये सवाल है. I think I'm audible. Right. So ये सवाल आपके लिए है कि stress is the one word which sir used, and nowadays this is a big problem. How you tell these people to manage that stress? What is the way to successfully manage the stress while doing all the things? I'm not saying कि ये अपना काम करना बंद कर दे, ये सोशल मीडिया पर नहीं जाए, या कोई और चीज ना करे, इस बात का टेंशन ना ले कि इनको आगे जॉब करना है, AI आ गया, ये सब आ गया, but how to manage that?
Stress is a very common thing. I think nowadays small kids also complain about stress. The lifestyle change, the cultural change is causing a lot of stress for our students also. So we regularly address that. We talk to them about stress. Many practical tips we give them, like getting into sports, getting into different activities, hobbies, and be very active in campus on different co-curricular and extracurricular activities. We focus on plenty of activities on a weekly basis. Our students are involved in a lot of in-personal activities also, in person, not just online, so which helps them. We have small mentoring sessions where faculty interact every week, 3 hours with a small group of students. So we help them, we talk to them, and we are supporting them, and students also, peer sessions are there, they help each other. And we talk about stress. The first thing is we talk about stress. We talk about, and there is an awareness that stress is something which is there and we need to handle. And we use a term called eustress. Okay, so reasonable stress is good. That pushes us towards our purpose. When the purpose comes beyond our stress, stress doesn't become stress. Right now, our students are all in the recruitment phase. Some companies came, some of them got selected, some of them did not get selected, so stress is building up. But then, of course, you have a purpose and a better company is coming, a better role is coming for you. So that purpose and working towards that purpose makes them feel, okay, this stress is small. And when they see their friends getting placed and they come and share their story, they feel, okay, next day, next company will be mine. And then, so we tell them to convert their stress into eustress and have that purpose. So that purpose will reduce their stress. They know, when they get into that particular role in that particular, I'm taking the example of campus hiring because MBA student, that is the primary thing at this moment. So when they have that purpose very clear in their mind, the stress is, they are able to manage their stress.
अच्छा, आप ही लोगों से पूछते हैं, how many of you feel stressed or little bit depressed? मतलब कभी दिन में एक आध बार या हफ्ते में एक बार, महीने में एक बार? Honest answer. How many of you? Most of you. And कितनी बार हम इसकी बात करते हैं? मतलब है तो सही, लेकिन हमने जाके किसी से बात की, टीचर से, घर पे, फ्रेंड से, ये डिफिकल्ट है शायद, बात करना नहीं हो पाता है. Few, I think hardly one. डॉक्टर साहब, कितना इम्पॉर्टेंट है ये इस वक्त में कि दे शुड ओपन अप टू टॉक. जैसे मैम ने कहा कि वी हैव सेशंस अराउंड एयर में, पर फिर भी मुझे लगता है कि वो अभी भी स्टिल इट्स अ टैबू टू गो एंड आस्क कि आई एम अंडर स्ट्रेस और मुझे ये थोड़ा सा डिप्रेशन है, आई हैव फियर और दिस इज दैट. तो हाउ इम्पॉर्टेंट दिस फैक्टर इज?
It is very important. I mean, there is no two words about it. So how do you actually, how are you able to express it to somebody who is very close to you, right? It can be a friend, it can be parent. It's important to talk. It is very important to actually express what you're feeling, right? That is the most important. Who it is probably a choice that you want to exercise, whether it is with your friend or a parent, or maybe, I mean, we have a mentoring kind of an arrangement. We have personal counselors also. I mean, depends on what kind of stress you're going through, right? So, therefore, that is something that people can be, very open about. But I think equally important is to understand how much of so-called stress I can take.
Yeah, it's important.
Right, that is very important. Where do you draw that line is the very important thing. So that stress level can be different for different people. It's not going to be uniform, right? So one is to understand where do you stand and how do you make sure that you share it with somebody. That is one. And equally important is take it easy, right? Life is full of stress. I mean, you can't avoid stress, you can't avoid problems, but I think you need to be, you need to take it easy, but one of the important things about taking it easy is the awareness, right? You need to be aware that, like for example, if you are angry, the moment you feel that you are angry, the anger comes down, right? So awareness is very important. That actually helps you in terms of managing stress, but you need to share. I mean, there is no other option, and there are a lot of facilities that university offers in terms of actually managing the stress and things like that. Of course, the curriculum is such that they are stressed, but it's not, the intention is not to stress out. It actually prepares you for what is life ahead, right? In the corporate, it is not going to be easy, right? When Dr. Narayan Murthy actually says that 70 plus hours of work you need to do, there is an expectation. If the organization has to grow, you have to grow. There's a lot of work that is required. But I think stress is a part of our life, but how do we manage it is very important.
And abhi 2-3 दिन पहले, last week, there is World Mental Health Day, and there is some doctor which comes on the TV and they said कि जैसे आपकी body है, उसी तरह से आपका mind है. बॉडी को भी आप प्रैक्टिस कराते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, यू वेंट टू जिम और आपने पहले दिन 10 किलो उठाया, फिर 20 किलो उठाया, धीरे धीरे यू गॉट टू इंक्रीज द वेट. उसी तरह आप स्ट्रेस के भी लेवल हैं. आपने थोड़ा स्ट्रेस लिया, आपने स्ट्रेस के लेवल बढ़ाया और बढ़ाया, तो योर माइंड बिकम ट्रेंड फॉर दैट. अब जो प्रॉब्लम हो रही है सर, डॉक्टर सत्यशीलन, वो ये हो रही है कि इन दिनों जो ऑक्यूपेंसी ऑफ माइंड है वो बहुत बढ़ गई है, बहुत ज़्यादा. आपके पास आपकी पढ़ाई भी है, स्टूडेंट्स के लिए शायद और ज़्यादा है, या हर किसी के लिए है. आपके पास थोड़ी बहुत फियर्स भी हैं कि आगे कैंपस रिप्लेसमेंट होना है. सोशल मीडिया आपका टाइम लेता ही लेता है. यू कीप ऑन स्क्रॉलिंग, वॉचिंग रील्स एक्सेट्रा. सो देयर आर टू मेनी थिंग्स फॉर योर माइंड, बट माइंड की कैपेबिलिटी नहीं है उतनी. हमने उनसे सवाल पूछा कि ऐसा क्या हुआ कि आज से 20-30 साल पहले ऐसी प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी, एंड व्हाट हैपेंड नाउ जबकि ये तो कम होना चाहिए, हम तो एडवांस हो गए। तो दे सेट कि माइंड की जितनी कैपेसिटी है उससे ज़्यादा चीज़ें उसके पास आ गई। एंड देयर कम्स द क्वेश्चन ऑफ डिसिप्लिन। आप वक्त पे सो जाएं, आप सोशल मीडिया स्क्रॉल करें लेकिन थोड़ा करें, आप फ्यूचर के लिए लेकिन डरें लेकिन थोड़ा डरें, तो क्या डिसिप्लिन इसका एक आंसर हो सकता है? डिसिप्लिन मीन्स टू डू द थिंग्स इन बैलेंस। आपको सब करना है, किसी चीज को बंद नहीं कर देना है कि आपको कल से ये फोन को हाथ नहीं लगाना है या वो नहीं करना है, बट टू डू इट इन अ मॉडरेट वे, इन अ डिसिप्लिनरी वे।
I think discipline, yeah, I mean, I will answer it a little differently. So generally it is believed, I mean, we believe that creative people are not disciplined. I mean, there's a belief that if you're creative, you kind of doing some, out of the world things, and your thought process works very this one, but actually creative is a very disciplined process. So therefore, discipline is extremely essential to how you do things in terms of whether it's a mindset. I think you asked earlier in the earlier session, you asked the question of whether mindset is important or action is important. And I will say both are equally important, because it's like this. You can dream all the dreams that you have, but if you don't put the foundations under it, nothing is really, it's all only this one. So same thing, you can think of all this one that you want to think, but if you don't take action, it's not really going to work. So therefore, in that sense, whatever aspirations we have, we want to, okay, let me give another quote. To be an overnight success, it takes 20 years. There's a statement. To be an overnight success, it takes 20 years, which means to be that overnight success or the startup, you need to put 20 years of effort to go through that. Therefore, I think that aspect of discipline is extremely essential in how we deal. And I'll also give one more example. Let's say, for example, we are fighting a war, and you have a choice of putting a commando in that war, or you have putting an untrained person in that war. What would be a choice be? Obviously, the commando. Why? Because the commander is trained to deal with the same thing. I think in life, if we have to face those challenges, I think having that discipline is very, very essential. In whether it be stress, whether it be success, whatever it is, I think we need a great amount of discipline, and I think that's very central to our way of working and thinking. And I think that's what we are also trying to do in our MBA program. That discipline: come on time, leave on time, stay in the class, attendance is monitored. So the whole idea is that you need to stay disciplined, and otherwise, success really, it's an accident. The probability of success gets minimized if you're not disciplined. That's my take on that. Yeah.
Right. Mareena ma'am, what's your take?
I agree with sir. Discipline is really important, and a balance between, you were mentioning about the time on social media, the time on, we always tell our students, one major reason for their stress is lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Current generation sleep much less compared to, so managing your time, discipline, which is very difficult, because all these are very addictive, and you tend to spend a lot of time on it. So it's very very difficult to bring in that discipline into all these baskets of things which demand my time. So consciously bring that discipline, and then balance between all of this will help in.
So why we talked a lot about discipline? Because there is a research which says that most of the successful people on this planet are the most disciplined person. आप उनका डिसिप्लिन शायद आप ऐसे कैलकुलेट नहीं करेंगे कि वो सुबह 6 बजे उठ जाते थे, बट वो जो भी काम कर रहे हैं, they keep on doing it with discipline each day, every day, and what makes them successful. So that is why discipline is so important. It's not about just coming to the college on a right time or doing things in a manner कि 6 बजे ये करूँगा, 7 बजे physics पढ़ूँगा, 8 बजे chemistry पढ़ूँगा, not like that, but to do something consistently and with all your efforts. This is what discipline means here. Yes? Professor.
Yeah, there is a book called Outliers.
Outliers.
Malcolm
It says
Gladwell.
that, it says that to become an expert, you need to spend 20,000 hours on a particular thing. 20,000 hours. Then you will be an expert. You would have touched every aspect of that particular discipline. So if you want to call yourself an expert, that is the kind of discipline that you must have. That is one aspect. The second aspect is this discipline also has got multiple stuff. One is the mindset, and how knowledge, and how do you actually implement it. In Sanskrit you call it as Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. And it is in that order. It's not in the reverse order, right? You need to have an intent to do. Right? That should be in your mind. You must really understand what you want to do, and be clear about it. That is the fun. Then how to do it is the knowledge, which is the Jnana Shakti. You need to actually understand, get the knowledge of doing that. And the third one is Kriya Shakti. This is like, simple example of that is, I want to drive a car. I can read a manual and then think that I can drive a car, but I need to sit in the seat or in the wheel and actually drive the car. So all the three have to be come into, they have to come in, come into place, right? That is the most important thing. And that happens because of the practice and then being there, doing it over and over and again. And practice is a very boring thing, by the way. It's not very easy. Right? You need to do it, keep on doing it again and again and again. And at some point in time, some light at the end of the tunnel, somebody will recognize you and give you a word or something like that. So that's
and one very good example of that discipline is when we are talking about that UTI presentation. All of you are thinking if this is something like that कि इतना डिसिप्लिन से अगर आप इतना पैसा लगाओ और इतना बन जाता है तो फिर हमारे चारों तरफ तो मिलियनियर्स होने चाहिए. ऐसा क्यों नहीं है? क्यों इतनी, अगर हम जब इस कंपाउंडिंग के फॉर्मूले को जानते हैं तो ऐसी क्या बात है? डिसिप्लिन. उन्होंने शुरुआत में ही बोला था कि आपको डिसिप्लिन कैरी करना पड़ेगा. द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट पीपल स्टॉप इन्वेस्टिंग आफ्टर अ टाइम. वो रुक जाते हैं. यस मैम.
We have, when I was listening to that presentation, we have many of our alumni who have followed this, 10-year, 15-year past, and they have told us very proudly, my funds are so much, I don't want to tell the name of the alumni or the amount. It's running into crores. 10-year-old alumni, for you, to motivate all of you. They started with their first paycheck, and they reached 3 crores. And so we have many alumni. When they come back, they share this with us, because they learned compounding nicely from campus.
So again, that is very important. If you want to do something, whether it's your personal life, whether it's money or something else, discipline is very important. And now you understand better कि वो आप हर महीने 5,000 रुपए डालें और फिर उसमें 1,000 प्लस कर दें तो वो कितना बड़ा अमाउंट बन जाता है. नाउ कमिंग टू द क्लोजिंग ऑफ दिस सेशन, अगेन मैं वही बात पूछूंगा कि कोई एक चीज़ देखिए, बहुत बच्चे हैं, ये बैच जाएगा, इसका अगला बैच आएगा, एंड इट्स कीप्स गोइंग ऑन. लेकिन वो कोई एक बात जो आपको लगती है जब आप स्टूडेंट्स को देखते हैं कि अगर ये लोग इस चीज़ को करें या ये इस चीज़ को फॉलो करें तो दे बिकम मोर सक्सेसफुल इन देयर लाइफ इन ऑल द एस्पेक्ट. आगे चल के फैमिलीज होंगी, रिलेशनशिप्स होंगे, सभी जगह जिस हैप्पीनेस और टू बिकम रिच की हम बात कर रहे थे, वो कोई एक चीज़ जो आपके हिसाब से, क्योंकि आपके भी जीवन के अभी तक के अनुभव हैं, उस अनुभव के आधार पे एंड प्लस योर टीचिंग एक्सपीरियंस, व्हाट वन थिंग यू वांट टू टेल दिस पीपल, दिस किड्स? Starting with you, Dr. Krishna.
Yeah, well, I think one of the points that other speaker made, be fearless, very important. But if you want to make mistakes now, right? Don't, once you can make mistakes because the world is okay to, take those mistakes, but you can't repeat a mistake, right? You have to be bold. You have to make mistakes, but it is okay. Mistakes is, you have to take risk, right, without actually worrying about the outcome. So that is something that I would say.
No, it's very important. Until and unless you make the mistakes, आप नहीं सीख पाएंगे. और हाँ, एक और important बात कि उसी mistake को दोबारा ना दोहराना, this is much more important. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to tell 2 points. One is to be very aware of our purpose. The speakers also mentioned about, passion, follow your passions. But sometimes we don't know what is our passion yet. Like I can tell, as we grow, we discover ourselves. That self-awareness. What is that I'm really competent at? That we don't know. We are discovering. We are discovering ourselves throughout our journey. So please keep on discovering. Be more self-aware so that you know what is your passion. If I ask you, I'm sure 90% of you wouldn't be able to tell me what is my passion, because we are discovering. Right? And there are many scientific ways of discovering our passion. I'm really grateful to this institution. I completed 8 years here. We got multiple training, multiple psychometric programs each year for us to help ourselves to get, and we have excellent feedback system. This has helped me a lot to understand myself, to get what am I good at? And then that process helped me to discover my passion as well. So continue to discover your passion, your awareness about what am I really, and then have that purpose in life. Once you are able to discover that, then you will be very successful in life. So keep that discovery on and, purpose, identify the purpose.
Yeah. I think Mareena ma'am talked about passion. For this generation especially, I would say have compassion for yourself. No, passion is important, but have compassion for yourself, because you are a generation. No, the reason is this is a generation that thrives on putting an Instagram and the likes given by others. If you don't get that like, you feel you're depressed, you're judging yourself by others' reactions. I think you need to have that self-compassion and that self-faith. I think that if students have, I think their competence is not questioned, their ability is unquestionable, but I think what will differentiate is how do they, we talked of resilience, discipline, everything. I think that will sustain if you have self-compassion for yourself, which Krishna has said, you make a mistake, forgive yourself. Unless it's intentional, I think, as long as unintentional, forgive yourself for the mistake that you did, and you move on. It's like a pencil, writing a pencil erase with a rubber, right? You move on, you keep writing, but you don't stop writing. That's very, very important. The second is faith in oneself, that I'm good at what I do. Unless we talked of 10,000 hours or 20,000 hours. If you're really putting that effort, you need to know that you are good. You're really good. There's no need to doubt yourself. So self-faith and self-compassion is where I would say that we will suggest to the students.
No, बिल्कुल सही बात है. Compassion and और आपने वो जो कहा कि self-belief, self-faith बहुत important है. अभी कंचन ने जिक्र किया वो पत्ते वाली कहानी का, तो कल हमारा एक और conversation हो रहा था जब हम आ रहे थे यहाँ बेंगलोर, वो भी मैं आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहूँगा. वो इसी self-belief की है. तो long back अमिताभ बच्चन, you know all, उनके फादर को आप जानते हैं? How many of you? Few of them. हरिवंश राय बच्चन, he is a great poet of his time. तो एक बार अमिताभ जब दून स्कूल में थे और उन्हें कुछ परफॉर्म करना था, कुछ प्ले वगैरह, और वो बीमार पड़ गए, नहीं कर पाए, तो बहुत उदास थे, बहुत निराश थे. सो हरिवंश वेंट टू हिम एंड आस्क्ड क्या हुआ, तो उन्होंने कहा कि मैं परफॉर्म करना चाहता था लेकिन बीमार हो गया, ये हो गया. तब उन्होंने एक बहुत फेमस कोट कहा था, मन का हुआ तो अच्छा और मन का ना हुआ तो और भी अच्छा. बाय दैट ही इज सेइंग कि इट्स फाइन, नहीं हो पाया अभी, कोई बात नहीं, यू थिंक एज इट्स गॉड्स विल. क्यों? क्योंकि तुम्हारे लिए कुछ और अच्छी डेस्टिनी रखी हुई है. आज आपको लग रहा है कि आपसे नहीं हो पाया, आप नहीं कर पाए, कोई बात नहीं, निराश होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. मन का नहीं हुआ तो कोई बात नहीं, और हो गया तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन आप ये मानिए कि जब नहीं हो रहा है तो ये ईश्वर की इच्छा है, और अगर ऐसा है इसका मतलब है आगे आपके लिए कुछ और अच्छा होना बाकी है. तो सेल्फ बिलीफ इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. लाइफ में अप और डाउन्स आएंगे ही, और उसी के लिए हमारे गुरुजन हैं जो हमें ये सिखाते हैं कि आप खुद में विश्वास रखें. इन्होंने आपको जो पढ़ाया है वो कभी व्यर्थ नहीं होगा, वो इट्स डिग्री नहीं है, वो लाइफ टाइम लेसन्स हैं. तो उन्हें याद रखिए, और कभी फेलियर आए लाइफ में या कभी कोई ऐसा निराशा का पल आए, जस्ट थिंक अबाउट दैट, और आप उसको थ्रू कर जाएंगे, और आगे शायद बहुत गोल्डन फ्यूचर आप सबके लिए. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच, और आप तीनों को भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.